In recent days, the world of cinema and millions of hearts have been shaken by the loss of Diane Keaton, Hollywood's immortal soul. She turned fragility into art and loneliness into beauty. Her passing at 79 closed a glorious chapter in film history and left a deep wound in the heart of art itself. As her family prepares for a private farewell in California, the world watches in quiet sorrow. Hollywood mourns deeply, with tributes pouring in, none more heartfelt than from Goldie Hawn, Diane's lifelong friend and co-star. Goldie's tearful farewell captured the pain felt by millions. Before we continue, please like and leave a message to honor the woman who gave her soul to the world and was taken too soon by time. Diane's journey began not in applause, but in silence. A silence that shaped her childhood in a home where emotions were hidden behind polite smiles. Born in 1946 in Los Angeles, she grew up where perfection was prized and vulnerability was taboo. Her mother, once a hopeful performer, gave up her dreams for domestic life, a quiet surrender Diane witnessed firsthand. Yet this silence became her fuel. While other girls dreamed of safe homes, Diane dreamed of escape, a stage, a light to see her. Her breakthrough came playing Blanche Dubois in high school, a role that made her feel truly seen. Acting was survival. At 20, she left Los Angeles for New York, shedding her last name for her mother's maiden name, Keaton, a tribute and rebellion. New York was harsh and unforgiving. She lived in a cold, cramped apartment, slept in her coat, and faced rejection at auditions. By day, she waited tables. By night, she sang in smoky basements, her voice a defiant cry against silence. Through grit and talent, Diane transformed her pain into art and taught the world that vulnerability is strength, not weakness. Some nights, Diane and a fellow actress would split a sandwich into quarters, laughing through hunger at the absurdity of being young, unseen, and still alive. That fear carried her through months of hunger and rejection. Dinner was often just tea and a thin slice of bread. She pawned her only good shoes for rent, skipped the subway to save for coffee, and wrote dialogue by candlelight during power outages. In 1968, after 2 years of struggle, she got her break in the Broadway revival of Hair. Barefoot, trembling, and hollow with hunger, she performed not to please, but to survive. The director's words, "Don't change a thing," broke 20 years of silence. The audience didn't see perfection, they saw truth. Fear became her spine, hunger her fuel, rejection her teacher, loneliness her mirror. Every no made her stand taller. Long before Annie Hall or The Godfather, she was a young woman walking through snow with empty pockets and a spirit that refused to freeze. That's where her legend began, not in comfort or applause, but in silence, finally finding its voice. Her first flash of fame came with The Godfather in 1972, playing Kay Adams, the soft counterpoint to a brutal world. Then Annie Hall in 1977 brought immortality. Her nervous laughter, quirky style, all of it raw Diane, unguarded and luminous. When she won the Oscar, she thought she had arrived, but later wondered in an empty kitchen, is this what it feels like to be seen? Fame, she learned, casts long shadows. Every script came with silent pressure. Could she be that good again? She worked tirelessly, rewriting lines no one asked her to, chasing a perfection that always slipped away. On lonely nights, she'd drive with the windows down, letting cold slap her awake, trying to remember what it felt like to simply exist. Success didn't make her whole. It gave her permission to be broken in public. When Reds came in 1981, Warren Beatty demanded everything, and she gave it. Her performance was raw and incandescent, leaving her emotionally spent. But the mid-1980s brought silence. Roles dried up, reviews grew cold, and Hollywood turned younger. She vanished not from defeat but to save herself, turning down big parts because fame without truth felt hollow. Quietly, Diane began again. She wrote, directed, and waited. In solitude, art became prayer, not performance or validation. Greatness for Diane Keaton was never a crown. It was a wound carried with grace. She learned that beauty bruises, light burns, and resilience is breath itself. The woman the world loved for laughter had built that laughter out of fear. The woman who seemed free had carved freedom from loneliness. History will remember Oscars and iconic roles, but her truest triumph was in the unseen moments, the late-night rewrites, quiet tears, and courage to keep showing up. Years after they met on the First Wives Club set, Diane Keaton and Goldie Hawn reunited, not with staged laughter, but healing laughter. The silence that once haunted Diane no longer hurt. It listened and forgave. When Diane passed at 79, the world froze. On her Pacific Palisades veranda, Goldie whispered, "No, not Diane," clutching memories of their last phone call. Diane joking about hats and aging as a performance. That laughter became a final echo from a woman who turned silence into music. Their friendship began nearly 30 years earlier, forged between Diane's quiet discipline and Goldie's radiant light. One cold night, Goldie wrapped her coat around Diane, telling her, "You're always the strong one. Let someone carry it for a while." From then on, they were sisters in survival, sharing fears, heartbreak, and laughter that healed. When Diane died, Goldie's grief was silent but deep. At Diane's Los Angeles home, hats still hung by the door, glasses sat by an untouched tea, and jacaranda petals fell softly, a quiet mourning from nature itself. At 50, Diane adopted her daughter Dexter, breaking through fame's silence to find real love. 5 years later came Duke. Together, they built a home filled with laughter, imperfection, and quiet strength. Diane didn't just raise them, she rebuilt herself through them. Her children remember a mother who checked in with love, night and day. Now, the phone is silent, and her camera still points to the garden, capturing light she never printed. To the world, Diane was a fearless voice of honesty on screen. To her family, she was the heartbeat that made silence bearable. And still, the wind through jacarandas carries her faint, unforgettable laughter, a reminder that some loves never fade. When she died on October 11th, 2025, Hollywood and the world paused. Tributes poured in from stars and fans alike, while theaters dimmed their lights for Annie Hall. In Palm Springs, a silent crowd felt her presence in the desert wind, carrying her laughter. Diane was more than a star. She was a revolution of kindness, courage, and light. She made imperfection radiant, showed vulnerability as strength, and turned aging into poetry. She performed not for approval, but to survive, and gave us permission to be real. Her legacy lives in every woman who dares to be herself, turning fear into art and finding grace in imperfection. As Hollywood dims its lights, her glow remains. In the wind, her photos and laughter shared with Goldie Hawn. She spent her life laughing, forgiving, and teaching us to live gently in a harsh world. Now let's honor her not with tears, but with the fierce, fragile laughter she gifted us. Rest, Diane. Your light will never fade. If you love Hollywood gossip, celebrity news, and all things star-studded, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss an update. Also, drop a comment below.